Hey there, Indy Riz here, back with another Post Scriptum tutorial. Today I wanted to once again cover playing in the role of an infantry soldier, but this time going much more in-depth, including some in-game tips and tricks that you may or may not know, the different roles within a squad, including the specific game mechanics that'll be involved to successfully be able to play that role, what's expected of you by your teammates when you're playing that role, as well as going over some tactics that can be utilized to maximize your chances of success. To start, let's go over some of the basic mechanics, regardless what role you're playing within the squad. Keep in mind, certain aspects of the game will inevitably be changed along the way, and I expect the stamina mechanic to be one of the aspects that the developers continue to tweak as this game develops. The way stamina is currently set up is that your stamina bar depletes as you sprint or crawl. As your stamina depletes, the gun sway your player experiences when aiming increases. This increase is dramatic when your stamina is under 50%. You also must have a fraction of your stamina left for the player to be able to utilize the zoom feature while aiming down the sight. Drinking from the canteen speeds your stamina recovery, and this is indicated with two arrows pointing to the right in your stamina bar. Currently, the player will not lose stamina while sprinting if the player is fully boosted. I personally love to get to an elevated position to make spotting the enemy easier and make it harder for the enemy to get cover from me behind small hills. To gain this advantage, I often utilize vehicles such as a transport truck as a ladder to reach areas that I would otherwise be unable to reach. I also use the double jump mechanic to reach low overhangs. To do this, simply hit the space bar to jump, then while in the air and near your desired overhang, quickly hit the space bar again to grab on and pull yourself up. Oftentimes it is difficult to tell if a bullet I have fired actually struck the target I was shooting at. However, you should be aware that there currently is an audible hit indicator. In this next clip, listen to how you can tell that I missed my first shot while landing my second one. Listen again for the hit indicator. Now let's look at some of the different aspects of properly using grenades and smokes. There are two different ways to throw a grenade. To throw a grenade overhand for maximum distance, first select the grenade from your inventory by either scrolling to it using your mouse wheel, then left-clicking to select it, or by pushing the appropriate number on your keypad. Once the grenade is selected, hold the left mouse button to pull the pin and begin aiming. Once the proper aim point is achieved, simply release the left mouse button to throw the grenade. If during the aiming process the player changes his mind about throwing the grenade, simply select a different number on the keypad for a different weapon, and the player will switch to that weapon without throwing the grenade and will replace it back into your inventory. The player can also choose to toss the grenade underhand when he decides he needs less distance and more control. To throw a grenade underhand, first select the grenade as before, then hold down the right mouse button to pull the pin and begin the aiming process. Simply release the right mouse button to throw the grenade. One of the best uses for a grenade is to help assault buildings, but this requires the player to accurately toss a grenade into a window. After several attempts at this that resulted in my death from my own grenade, I came up with a system. With the grenade armed and in overhand aiming mode, I close into the building until the window just fits inside my thumb and first finger of my player's aiming animation. Then, using my thumbnail as an aim point, I adjust my aim until the thumb is near the center of the window. When I'm satisfied with my aim, I release the left mouse button to throw the grenade. Now I wanted to cover the best way to use smokes. I've noticed a lot of players tend to use smoke to hide their position from the enemy by deploying very near to their location. Most of the time I feel this is the least efficient way to use it. Using the diagram here, when a lot of players encounter fire from a known position such as this house, they will toss their smoke as close as they can to their location. This not only risks receiving damage from the phosphorus grenades, but also gets the bare minimum obstruction of the smoke, which I've measured to be roughly 30 meters. If instead the smoke is tossed much closer to the enemy, you effectively increase the amount of view obstructing effect that the enemy suffers by many times over. Now let's move on to the different roles available within each 9-man squad. When a new squad is started, the role of medic becomes available immediately. When a squad has been populated by a squad leader and 3 other players, that squad will be allowed 1 medic and 1 machine gunner. When a squad is populated by a squad leader plus 4 other players, that squad will be allowed to carry 2 medics, a machine gunner, plus 1 specialty role. When a squad has a squad leader plus 5 other players, it is allowed to carry 2 medics, a machine gunner, plus now they are allowed to carry 2 specialty roles. The specialty roles available are the anti-tank, the sniper, the sapper or scout, and the light mortarman. Once a squad is populated by a squad leader and 5 other players and all the roles have been taken, all remaining players that join will join as basic riflemen. Now let's look at some of the basic fundamentals needed to play each role. Let's start with the most important role within each squad, and that's the medic.
Doc, got my leg. It's in that tree.
The medic is not only a fun role to play, it also comes with a few perks. The most obvious one is that everyone, not only your squad but your entire team, loves the medic. The second perk is that the medic comes equipped with extra bandages and the ability to heal himself to full health, unlike your typical rifleman. He also has binoculars in his inventory, and in a game where spotting the enemy is as difficult as it is in Post Scriptum, having binoculars to provide magnified spotting capabilities can be a huge advantage. The medic carries extra bandages along with a syringe, which is used to revive players. To use a syringe, simply select it from your inventory and then left-click on the player that needs revived. Once that player is revived, the medic can then switch to his bandages and left-click on the player once again. This will return the player to full health. There are a couple ways to locate players in need of medical assistance. If looking in the map view, you will see these markers flashing red and white. They indicate players that are waiting to be revived. In first-person view, you will also see players that need revived, as well as players that are low health and can be treated with bandages and returned to full health. To successfully help your team while playing in the medic role, there are a couple basic rules to follow. Number 1, stay alive. A dead medic can't revive anyone. Number 2, pick up other medics first. Number 3, when possible, make sure the area is safe before attempting to revive a fallen comrade. Number 4, don't be afraid to tell players that you won't be able to get to them. Number 5, use smokes, both yours and request others to use theirs. Number 6, have your teammates cover you while you revive other players. Number 7, if reviving in a dangerous area, instruct your teammate to get to a safer area once revived, and then at that point you will be able to finish healing him. The next role I'd like to discuss, because it's arguably the second most important role within the squad, is the machine gunner. The machine gunner is vital to his squad for his ability to provide a large volume of suppressive fire for both his advancing and defending squads. He's often able to deny an entire area to the enemy. However, this firepower makes him a primary target for the enemy, so when playing as a machine gunner, try and relocate often and rely on teammates to aid in spotting the enemy. Don't present yourself as an easy target for enemy snipers. Oftentimes, the machine gunner will be firing at an area as opposed to a specific target. Both the British Bren and the German MG-34 and 42 are extremely difficult to control when hip-fired. Fortunately, they all come with a bipod that makes them much more accurate. To deploy the bipod, simply go prone by hitting the Z key, then hit the C key to deploy the bipod. You must, however, be on relatively flat ground. You can also use window ledges and some fences as support and deploy your bipod on them from the crouched position. You can even use fellow teammates if you find one willing. Most squad leaders will want some sort of protection against enemy armor. This is where the light anti-armor role comes in, sometimes called LAT or AT. This role is armed with several weapons designed to destroy enemy vehicles. The British Piat and the German Panzerfaust are both shoulder-fired AT weapons that have the ability to be ranged. To adjust the range of the weapon, while holding down the right mouse button to aim it, hold down the X button on your keyboard, then use the up or down arrow keys to adjust the range accordingly. The Germans also have the Raketpanzerbuche 54 available. However, you are unable to adjust the sights from the default of 50 meters. The sapper and pioneer are roles that also have the capability to destroy enemy vehicles and fobs through the use of mines and TNT. To utilize mines and TNT, simply select them from your inventory, then get close enough to the target that the placement indicator turns from red to green. Then left-click to place and arm the device. This starts the fuse, so immediately withdraw to a safe distance until the explosive detonates. When played correctly, the role of sniper can be one of the most beneficial roles in helping your squad achieve its objective. In the right hands, the sniper role, with its magnified optic, can allow for precision removal of enemy threats to aid both attacking and defending squads. However, the role of sniper is, in my opinion, the one role that is currently being misplayed the most. Too often I find squad mates lone wolfing as a sniper, attempting to rack up kills as opposed to actively supporting the squad. This has led to a backlash within the game, and a lot of squad leaders have begun kicking players who secure the sniper role without first getting squad lead approval. So before taking the sniper role, it's best to first ask your squad leader for permission, as well as acknowledge your intention of being a team player. Since the sniper is just a rifleman, but with the addition of an optic, the actual game mechanics remain the same. The Grenadier is a rifleman who also has the ability to accurately launch grenades from their rifles to considerable distances. This can be extremely beneficial in helping a squad clear heavily fortified buildings. To utilize the launcher, simply select the discharger from your inventory. By default, the range of the launcher is 0 to 50 meters. This can be adjusted by holding down the right mouse button to ADS, then holding down X while using the arrow key to adjust the range to the desired distance. The last role available within each squad is the role of light mortar. The light mortarman carries a 2-inch mortar that has the capabilities of providing indirect fire support for the squad, from ranges from 260 meters all the way down to 50 meters. To use the mortar, the player must go to the prone position by hitting the Z key. Then select the mortar from your inventory, and making sure to be on level ground, hit the C key to deploy the bipod. The weapon is now ready to fire. Adjust the aim point by moving the mouse to the left or the right, and adjust the range by moving the mouse up or down until the desired range is achieved. Then simply left-click to fire the round. One trick I've discovered to help achieve accurate fire is to make a distance measuring device using the legend from the map. To make this, I simply hit enter to bring up the map, then zoomed in all the way. I then copied the grid marks onto a piece of paper, going from 0 to 400 meters. Now, whenever an accurate range is needed, I simply go to the map, zoom in all the way again, then place the paper on the map between myself and the target, noting the distance. This allows a high degree of precision that I've otherwise been unable to obtain. That covers part 1 of Advanced Rifleman play. Make sure to check back soon for part 2, where I plan to focus primarily on tactics and movement. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video or got anything from it, please do me a favor and mash the hell out of the like and subscribe buttons. Until next time, happy hunting.
Yeah, why not? Hotel is ready. We're capping.
Okay, well then push to the hotel, push to the hotel.
We're capping.
What's up?
I'm going in.
Alright, you wanna go first? I'll come with the pistol after. Let's get in there! We've got this easy.
Backer.
Holy fuck, just so many dead Nazis.